All right, this is just a quick video for the start of the year here. On the corner of each table, there's a little sheet of paper that's taped to the table. It's got your name on it, so make sure you find your assigned seat. Match it up with whatever class you're in, Brown 1, Brown 2, and find your name. Sitting at your desk there or at your table in front of your chair is your book, and along with your book are 5 worksheets. I'm going to explain those worksheets. First thing with your book, please make sure you write your name in the or on the front cover, the back of the front cover. So make sure you write your name on the back of the front cover. Whatever your name is, just write it in there. Also, on the board is a code. And this is a code for you to access stuff that goes along with this book online. So right there with your name, write that code on the inside of the front cover, or the back of the front cover in your book. Please make sure you do this so we don't want you to lose your book. We want you to know it's yours. And if nobody puts their name in there, then we won't know which book's yours. So if somebody else takes your book, then you'll get charged for it, and we don't want that. So again, write your name and the code. The code's up here on the board. If you happen not to be here and you're watching this video, and that's why you're watching this video, then just get the code from me. Each class has a different code, so make sure you talk to me about that. The 5 worksheets that are along with your book, one of them's a parent form. That parent form you're going to take home, and it explains to your parents stuff about the class, explains what you need for the class, and all you really need for this class is you need a binder, and I'll explain what kind of binder it is if you're here in class. I have some of them here if you need one. You need a calculator. I suggest a TI-83 or 84, but I know they're expensive. So if you don't have money to get that, then a TI-30 would work. Just try to make sure there's different TI-30s. And if you ask me, I will show you which TI-30 I'm talking about. It's a TI-30, and then it's got the Roman numeral 2 with it, S something, SX or something like that. But that's a good enough one for this class. So you got your binder, calculator. I would like you to have a ruler and protractor and compass, and you can bring those to class with you. That's not really a necessity, because I have some of them, but if you have ones, yours might be a little better than mine, so that might be something you want to get. And too, with everything that's going on, I have sort of trouble passing those out to you. So if you have your own, that's going to make everything a little easier. But that parent form, you're going to take it home. Your parents are going to fill out the front. You're going to bring that back to me. That's going to go in the grade book as your first assignment. And then your parents can keep the second and third page, or actually just the other page. So you just rip it apart, and they can keep that other page so for their information. It's got all my information on there and stuff. So that's the parent form. Another one of the papers is the assignment page. That assignment page, it's got holes punched in it. You can put it right in your binder. It's just to help you out so that you can keep track of your assignments. Another one is hall passes. You only get 2 hall passes each 9 weeks. So make sure that you keep that somewhere where you don't lose it, because if you don't have that paper, then you're not getting a hall pass. All right, that's the way I keep track of them. I know if I've signed your paper twice, then you've used both your hall passes. So you gotta make sure that you hang on to that, put it in your binder. I punched holes in it for you so that you can just keep it right there in your binder. Then there's two other pages that look the same. Those other two pages, they start at the top and they say name, and they have a little blank next to it. They look the same. You're going to fill both those out. So you're going to fill them both out. When you fill them out, one of them you're going to turn into me, one of them you're going to keep. The one that you're going to turn into me, it says me at the top. The one that you're going to keep has class rules and stuff on the back. So you're going to turn in the one with nothing on the back to me and keep the one that has something on the back. The one that you keep is going to go in your binder, and I will explain your binder. It will be the first page in your binder. And the reason it's the first page is because as soon as I open up your binder when I collect it, it'll say name right there, and I'll know whose binder it is. So that's the first page of your binder. So what you could be doing right now is you could be filling those two things out, making sure that you've got this written, your name and the code in your book, and filling out those two papers. And here in a few minutes, I'll have you turn in one of those papers to me. Next thing I'm going to do is on the back of that one page, it's got the class rules and the grading system and stuff about the notebook. I'm going to go through all that on that page, so you could just, while you're filling that stuff out, you could just be listing. Number one, in some of these rules, we're not going to have any problems with these rules. The whole purpose of you being here is to learn. The whole purpose of me being here is to teach you as much as I possibly can, and you want to learn as much as you possibly can. There's absolutely no reason for us to butt heads with each other and have to argue about, what you're doing, what you're not doing. Do as much as you can. I want you to do as well as you possibly can. There's no reason for me to want you to do poorly, all right? A lot of times students and teachers think that they're on opposite sides. We're not on opposite sides here. We're on the same side, and we're trying to get you to learn as much as you possibly can and better yourself for the future. That doesn't mean everybody has to be an A or B student, all right? It's just, I want you to do as well as you possibly can and to push yourself, and I want you to make me push myself to teach you as well as I possibly can. That doesn't mean making it harder on me, all right? We want to work together and for your betterment. So on these classroom rules, my whole purpose going through all that spiel was we shouldn't have any problem with classroom rules. You guys are young men and ladies, and you know what you're supposed to do when you're in school. So we'll go through these sort of quickly. Number one, be in your seat and prepared to start class when the bell rings. If not, you get marked tardy. Do not disturb others or their belongings. Don't mess with anybody else's stuff, and don't mess with them. Don't harass them. Don't pick on another student. You can pick on Ebersole if you want, call him fat or whatever, and he doesn't care. But other students you can't do that with. The other stuff that's in the classroom, we got the AC unit, we got the fan, we got all this other stuff that's in here right now. Paper towel rack and the dispenser for the hand lotion and all that stuff. Don't mess with it unless you're actually just using it. The AC unit and the fans and stuff, don't mess with them at all. There's no reason for you to mess with them, and if you do mess with them, you'll probably end up with a detention. You must come to class prepared every day, so come with paper, pencil, calculator, your book. Know that I will, as far as the calculator goes, get it as quickly as you possibly can, because after a week or so, I'm going to start counting the calculator as a grade. If you're having trouble getting a calculator for whatever reason, then talk to me and we'll get something worked out. And I'll try to find you one, all right? But it will start counting as a grade. So make sure that you bring a calculator every day. Come to class every day prepared. No throwing or tossing anything. If somebody asks you for a pencil or something, hand it to them. Don't throw it across the room. No improper language. No talking while I'm talking. If I'm up here trying to explain something, please make sure that you're following along and listening. Can't be talking while I'm up here talking. It's rude. If you're talking, if you're saying something for the betterment of the class, then I will let you talk. I won't be rude to you. If we come out of this class with nothing else, I would be happy with you being polite and courteous young men and young women, because you can go a long way with that in life. So just be polite, don't be rude. Remain in your seats unless you're given permission. If you just have to get up, sharpen your pencil, or throw something away, I don't have any problem with that. Go ahead and just get up and do it, as long as you're not disrupting class. No eating or drinking in the classroom. You can't eat or drink anything in here. If you have something that you're eating or drinking, number one, it shouldn't be upstairs. Number two, when you walk in the room, there's a trash can right next to the door. You need to throw it in there. So no eating or drinking in here. Chewing gum, I don't say a whole lot about chewing gum, as long as you put it in your mouth before you come in the room. If you get it out while you're in here and it becomes a disruption to the class, then I'll take it. No cell phones, iPods, so on and so on. If I see your cell phone or iPod, I will probably walk back to you wherever you're sitting at and ask you to lay it on my desk. And if you get up and you go lay it on my desk without any headache, then I'll probably give it back to you at the end of the block. If I ask you to lay it on my desk and you make a big scene out of it, then I'll probably keep it and turn it into the office, and somebody will have to come pick it up for you. So make sure you keep your cell phones put away. Absolutely no cell phones out during class. If you have it and you don't have any place to put it in your bag or whatever, just so you don't, there's not a disagreement or there's not a mistake on my part where I think you're messing with it and you're really not. Put it somewhere where I'm not going to see it and you're not going to want to mess with it. Any other activities that are not appropriate in the classroom setting won't be tolerated. In other words, anything that I didn't put on this list, you know how to act when you're out in public, so make sure you're not doing anything silly. Tardies, if you're not in your seat when the bell rings, you get marked tardy. 3 tardies in the 9 weeks, and I'll turn the detention into the office. We don't want that. Just the school's not that big. You can make it here in the time that they give you, so just make sure you show up on time. All work must be turned in on time. If you have 3 missing assignments for 9 weeks, if you miss 3 assignments or 3 incomplete assignments for 9 weeks, it will result in a detention. All right, so you've got to make sure that you're doing the assignments. Now, I don't grade the assignments real harshly or anything. Normally, I'll just walk around and check to see if you've attempted it. So let's say we have an assignment and you start doing it, you do number 1, you do number 2, you get to number 3 and you're confused, that's fine. Skip number 3 and go to number 4 or whatever. Go to number 5. Maybe you get to number 6 and you're confused again. All right? Attempt the entire assignment. Don't just stop as soon as you get to a problem that you're confused about. All right? Attempt it. I may come around and check it and you got a paper and it's got the answer to number 1, the answer to number 2, no answer for number 3, number 4 has got an answer, number 5 doesn't have an answer, number 6 maybe has an answer, number 7, number 8 don't have answers. As long as I think that you've attempted the entire assignment and just were confused on some of the problems, I don't care if it's half done, whatever. Maybe you were completely and totally confused. But if it looks like you've attempted everything, then you'll probably get credit for it and it won't count as one of these incomplete assignments. So try. That's all I can ask you to do. You're not going to understand everything. Just try. You're given 2 hall passes. We talked about this. You're given 2 hall passes each 9 weeks. Make sure you don't lose them, because you will not be allowed out of the classroom without me signing one of those passes. And yes, I know we use the passes online also, but this is just for my classroom, and we're still going to use those 2 hall passes so that I can keep track of myself. The other stuff I'll fill it out online and everything, but that's something separate. Sleeping or not paying attention during class will result in detention. If you got your head laid down, you're sleeping, I'll probably walk around or walk by you and ask you to sit up and pay attention and try to be polite about it, because I want you to learn as much as you possibly can, and I'm hoping that you're here to try to better yourself as much as you possibly can. But after I ask you once, if you just lay your head right back down again, then I'll probably just write up a detention and lay it on your desk. And we don't want that. So stay up and do as well as you can in here. Let's work together to help you out as much as we possibly can during this time. Consequences: verbal warning. You may be sent to the hallway, you may be sent to the office, and then I'll have to write it up, and that means I'll have to call your house. Some offenses may result in me throwing you out of class right away. We don't want that. Hopefully that's the last time we have to talk about any of these rules throughout the rest of the year. Again, things that you need for this class: binder, calculator, protractor, compass, ruler. And you're going to bring back that first page of the parent form to me. That's going to get turned in. Assignment hall passes all go in your binder. That way, as soon as I open it up, that's the first page of your binder, is that page that's got your name on it. It's got the website on there. It's got the rules. Again, make sure you write your name in your book. Parts of the binder. This is probably going to change, but for now, we're going to go with these 3 things. Parts of your binder: you have a notes section. You're going to have 3 separate sections. 3 sections. You can separate them however you want, but they got to be separated. So you're separated into 3 sections. You got a notes section, postulates and theorem section. We'll talk more about that as the year goes along, and a test and quiz section. Just 3 separate sections. I have dividers up here if you want to use dividers to keep it more in some kind of order, so you can, make it easier on yourself. My suggestion to you is you get a binder like the one that I'll show you in class. You get a binder and you put a bunch of paper in it. And then once that paper's in there, you can separate it into 3 sections. And one of the sections is your notes section, and we'll just start writing notes. And then each day you can just add notes on to that section. We'll talk more about the binders as the year goes along. The binder counts as a test grade. It should be an easy test grade. I don't expect that everybody's going to do 100% on every test. It'd be great if everybody did, but I've never seen it happen, so I'm not expecting it. But maybe it will happen this year. But if not, the binder counts as a test grade. So if you know that you do poorly on tests a lot of times in math classes, then keeping a good binder is going to help your test average. Speaking of average, the way I grade stuff in here, you have a test average, which includes tests and quizzes, and then you have a homework average. Again, test average counts tests, quizzes, also your binder gets added into there or as part of that. The test average is 70% of your grade. So this is weighted a little more than the homework. The homework counts as 30% of your grade. I will tell you this: I've never ever had a student who got no zeros on homework, so they attempted every homework all year long and ended up failing the class. So if you attempt every homework, this right here is going to come right along. And even if it doesn't, this average for your homework is going to pull up that test average. I've seen students in the past that failed just about every test or got D's or F's on every test, but they attempted every homework and they passed. So attempt the homework assignments and that's going to help, but know that the tests count as a higher percentage. I always use the analysis that homework is like practice. So if you play a sport, homework is like the practice. Well, practice doesn't mean anything. You might have looked spectacular in practice and looked like you should have been a pro at the sport, but then you got to the game and maybe you didn't look so good, you were having a bad day. That's what a test is. Test is a game. That's when it's game time. So your test counts as more. When the football team might have great practices all week, but maybe not everybody plays so well come Friday night, that's what everybody looks at, is the game. The game counts more. That's, you don't go at the end of the year, you don't look at your record and say, oh yeah, in practice we were 15-2. That's not what you look at. You look at your game record. So that's why tests count more than the homework. If you have D's or F's at inter report, then I call your house, send letters home, all kinds of different stuff throughout the year. So try to keep your grades up a little bit. I'm not saying everybody has to have an A or B. All right, that's between you and your parents. I don't care about you having an A or B. What I do care about is you trying to do as best as you possibly can. Let's say you got a D, and I think you're really, really trying. I probably, might not get a hold of your parents or whatever. But if you have a D and I think that you're not pushing yourself very hard, then I probably will. And I know that sounds unfair that you got a D and Sally sat next to you got a D and I didn't call her parents, but I called your parents. I'm not completely fair all the time. I want you to push yourself as much as you possibly can. Grading scale, hopefully most of you know the grading scale. Tests, we'll have chapter tests, we'll have quizzes. Chapter tests count as a double grade. I forgot that. So when we take a test over chapter 1, it'll actually be in your grade book twice. It counts twice, and that just makes it so that a test and a little short quiz aren't weighted the same. The tests are weighted a little heavier. Last thing I want to talk about is Moodle, and we'll have some stuff that we're going to do with this new book. Hopefully, if I figure it out, I'll probably be asking some of you to help me. But if you go on Moodle, go on Moodle, it looks something like this. And you'll log in as yourself. You guys know how to get on Moodle. I'm going to log in as a guest. You go to geometry, it looks this way. And just explaining some of this stuff, especially with all the stuff going on with the coronavirus and COVID and everything else, whatever you want to call it. All this stuff is on here. Your textbook is right here. If you click on that, it takes you to your textbook, or it should. We'll see what, maybe I did something wrong there. I'll have to fix that here pretty soon, but it should take you to the website. If not, you can get on the website using that code and everything that I gave you. It explains a bunch of other stuff. It's got the parent forums down through here. There's a video, the start of the year video on here, and I'll actually put this one on there. Then you get down through here and it'll show you week 1. Now this is last year's stuff, but it will look like this. I'll have the date. Notice it has 2 days because I have brown and orange geometry classes. So I have the date, and then it's got what was due that day, what the assignment for that day was. So if you happen to be absent, you can look at this, and then on there, there's the notes. So this, let's see what it does here. Looks like it's not acting right now. I might have to go back and fix some of it. So some of this is messing up right now. Might be that my internet's messing up. But if you click on those notes, it'll pop up the notes for that or for the day. These are the notes. This is exactly what I'm going over right now. So you could just scroll down through here, and it's going to, if it would let me scroll down, it would go over all the stuff that we've just been talking about, and actually has PowerPoint. It's a little different PowerPoint, but has PowerPoint for what we're going to do, the notes we're going to do today. There's also a video. You click on that, you can watch the video for the day. All these would be new videos, so it might take me a couple minutes to get them on there, but they will be on there. So if you happen to miss, you could jump right on here, find the assignment. You could watch the video if you're out for whatever reason, or if we have to all be out for whatever reason, this is the way it'll be set up. But those videos are right there. You'll notice some of them, they got old videos on here too. Just figure out what you need to look at, but it'll be set up that way each time. So you got your date, what's due that day, the assignment for that day, the notes, video for that section of notes, so on, so on, so on. But this is all right here. If you happen to be out, you can just jump right on here and find it. Again, the textbook, for whatever reason it's not working right now, and then I'll get that figured out. But if you can't get to the textbook on Moodle, then you can always just go to the website, and there's a textbook right there on the website. Stuff like it's got this calculator on here, tells you the materials you need for the class, so on, so on, so on. So this is all right on Moodle, and this is the way it'll look for you every time. So anything you need, just look right on there, and you can, I'll try to make sure I keep it updated so that you can find everything. That's about it. Make sure that you're getting a binder. Again, I have some if you need one. You're more than welcome to them. Binder, calculator, and start coming to class, and we're also going to go over the first assignment here in just a minute. So make sure also you bring that parent form back to me.